Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Farrah, and today I wanted to share with you guys a birthday book haul. I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge, but it was my birthday back in March and I went a little crazy. I also got books as gifts, and I visited a secondhand bookshop that I love. I'm afraid to tell you the name because I don't want you guys to know where I live, but I love it. I wish I could share more information about it. But it's just I get there maybe once or twice a year, and it's just so fun to go there. And I also went to a really wonderful independent bookstore here in my area and picked out a few things. I got some books as gifts, and yeah. So I'm going to share it real quickly. I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge, so I'm not really buying a ton anyway. So this will be it. This will be it probably for most the rest of the year, unless I just pick up something randomly because it happens, you know. All right, first I'm going to go through the new books that I got. These are the first batch is going to be gifts that I got from my loved ones. A lot of them were picked out at random. They didn't know that I wanted to read them, and it just happened to be amazing because they knew my taste. And then some were off of a wish list. So let's get started. Okay, the first two are fiction. So we have this copy of Testament of Youth by Vera Brittain. And I had this on my wish list actually because I saw a booktuber named Tilly talking about this. I think it was in Shawn D. Standfast's Desert Island Books, and she talked about this book. She's also a fellow nurse like myself, and this is about a nurse working during World War I. It takes place in 1915. It's about this woman named Vera Brittain. She abandons her studies at Oxford to go work in the medical corps. And it's just, I think this is going to be a heartbreaker. But I love reading about nurses during wartime. I love reading about nurses anywhere, but it's especially interesting to hear these stories about what it was like to be a nurse during these wars and to take care of these people on top of the stress that was already going on and the extreme conditions that they had to practice medicine with. And what a comfort they must have been to these wounded people. So I think this is a book that is going to really focus on what nursing was like during the war. So it's a lovely penguin, black spine book. So wonderful. I'm really excited to get to this one. And it's nice because the print's actually kind of on the bigger side, which is wonderful for my aging eyes. And then this is a book I had never heard of that was gifted to me. It's called The Go-Between by L.P. Hartley. And this is one of the really nice, New York Red Book versions. Yeah, I only have I have two other books in this edition publication style. So this was great to get this. These feel like such nice quality. They're really nice. So I don't really know a ton about this, but this is a fiction story about a young boy who I think he kind of gets wrapped up in this scandal, a scandalous love affair that he doesn't know he's being a messenger for. And there's a movie that was made about this called The Go-Between with Julie Christie and Alan Bates, I believe it was. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And I love receiving book gifts about books that I've never heard of because it's so thoughtful. It's so really thoughtful. Next, I got this book. This is called The Northern Lights, The True Story of the Man Who Unlocked the Secrets of the Aurora Borealis. And this is by Lucy Jago. And this tells a story about, I think it is a Norwegian explorer who went all over the world trying to discover the mysteries of the Northern Lights and just the crazy stuff that happened to him. So this sounds really amazing. I've had the intense blessing to be able to see the Northern Lights in my lifetime. For some reason, the solar activity this past year or two has been really strong. And so up where I live in upstate New York, we've gotten the chance to see it several times. And it's been an amazing display. Nothing quite as strong as this, but we had one night where it was the entire sky was filled with them. It was amazing. So I'm kind of a little obsessed with the Northern Lights. So this was another one that was so thoughtful. I had never heard of this book, and yeah, they got it for me. So yeah. Okay, next we have another nonfiction. This is called Entangled Life: How Fungi Make Our Worlds, Change Our Minds, and Shape Our Futures by Merlin Sheldrake. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this book and really enjoy it. And I've never been the hugest fungus fan, but it's definitely a topic that is intriguing to me because I would say I'm not a fungus phobe, but fungus kind of grosses me out. If it's out in nature, it's fine, but when you find it, you know, on people's bodies or growing out of cracks in the walls, that's when it gets a little creepy. So I'm really excited to dive into this and to learn more about the wonderful world of fungus. And I think it'll help heal something within me that has a little bit of fungus phobia. It's kind of like that and worms. I have a weird phobia about worms too. So maybe I should put that a worm book on my book list as well. So yeah, this sounds really, really good. Okay, and the last of the gifts I received is this book. It's another nonfiction, and it's called Our Kindred Creatures, How Americans Came to Feel the Way They Do About Animals by Bill Wasick and Monica Murphy. This book I actually almost bought for myself last year on my birthday, but I put it back because I was trying to be on a budget. So it's so amazing that I received this as a gift this year. So this book is about how the viewpoint when it came to thinking about animals and thinking of them as more of our equals, how that started to change at the end of the 19th century. So there was a huge movement that happened to, you know, make people realize that these animals are living creatures that have thoughts and feelings, and they can feel suffering, and we should be treating them well. So it's broken up into two parts. And it's really interesting because it's a very specific time period. So part one spans the time from 1866 to 1876, and then part two talks about 1885 to 1896, and it just tells about the people that, you know, led a revolution towards the better treatment of animals. So I think this is going to be a little bit difficult to read. There's chapters about dogs and horses, and so I'm got to be mentally prepared to dive into this, but I think it's going to be really interesting. So thank you so much to my wonderful friends and family that gifted me these amazing books. I'm so lucky. So the next batch of books are going to be some of the books I picked out for myself that were brand new, that I treated myself to at my independent bookstore. First off, I got this lovely little bookmark. I love collecting different bookmarks. I just think they're fun. I can never have enough. I feel like I always misplace them. Okay, so I treated myself to this Penguin Bloom copy of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and I just really liked the cover design. They had a few of these in different books, so I think they had Little Women. I forget what the other ones were that they had. They didn't have all the Jane Austen. It was just this one that I saw. But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It looks like it's going to be a very nice reading experience as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. I do hope to get to this year. It'll only be my second Jane Austen. I've only read Northanger Abbey so far. I did see this movie though. Was there one back in the 90s? If so, I'm pretty sure I saw that. Next, I got this book. It's called Hamnet, A Novel of the Plague by Maggie O'Farrell. This I had never heard of until I saw a preview for the movie that's coming out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they said it was based on a book. So I haven't heard anybody talk about this, even though I'm sure it's pretty popular. I just haven't seen it on the right channel. But it sounds really good. It takes place in England, 1580. The Black Death creeps across the land. There's a love affair. It just sounds fantastic. It sounds really good. And I don't usually buy fiction brand new. I like to get it from the library first, but it was just a special occasion, so I decided to get it. I also picked up this book. This is called Breathe, The New Science of a Lost Art by James Nestor. I love books about science and the human body, and this one goes into the history of breathing and had different breathing techniques and how meditation and deep breaths can actually change the cell structure in your body. So I'm looking forward to this. I just love this kind of stuff. And then I also picked this one up. I don't even know how to describe this, but it looked amazing, and the book itself is stunning. It's gorgeous. It's big though. But this is called Traversal by Maria Popova. And I don't really know how to describe this. Let me just read you a little bit. So it says, in Traversal, Maria Popova illuminates our various instruments of reckoning with the bewilderment of being alive, our telescopes and our treatises, our postulates and our poems, through the intertwined lives, loves, and legacies of visionaries, both celebrated and sidelined by history, people born into the margins of time and place who lived to write the future. Mary Shelley, Walt Whitman, Frederick Douglass, Fanny Wright, Dorothy Crowfoot Hodgkin, Marie Tharp, Alfred Wegener, Humphrey Davy, Ruth Benedict, and Margaret Mead. Woven through their stories are the threads: the first global scientific collaboration, the Irish potato famine, the decoding of the insulin molecule, the invention of the bicycle, how nature creates blue, to make the tapestry of meaning more elaborate yet clear as the book advances, converging on the ultimate question of what makes life alive and worth living. So, I don't know, it sounded really interesting. Hopefully it's good. It has really good ratings on Goodreads, but it just came out, so I don't know how many people have read this yet. And then lastly, I just picked up 2 little journals. I love journals. I've been writing in a diary since I was 10, and I just love collecting them. So this one I got just as a personal journal, kind of more as like a place to write down my thoughts and appreciation of the day at the end of the day, like all the things that I'm thankful for, because I really think that helps me stay focused on the things that matter and not dwell too much in the negativities of life. And then I also got this one, and this one I got to use as a reading journal. I mean, I use Goodreads and Storygraph, but I just like having a paper copy to flip through of all the books that I've read. I used to keep a reading journal in my 20s, and looking back on it, I'm so glad I did, because I forgot I even read some of those books. So those are those ones. And now I'm going to quickly just go through the secondhand books that I bought. So I got this book. This is called A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. And this book is a book that was one of the only things my father ever recommended to me. He wasn't a huge reader, but he must have read this and he really thought I would enjoy it. Unfortunately, he has since passed away, but I've been wanting to read this for a really long time. And when I saw it in the bookstore, it was like a sign that it was time to read it. I'm hoping to get to it. And this is such a nice copy. Oh my gosh, it's brand new too. It's only like $3. So I love that. Next, I found this copy. It's a Penguin Black Spine. This is Washington Irving, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories by him. So I had wanted to read Sleepy Hollow last year during the fall. A couple different booktubers read it. So I think Summer read it, and Mark from Book Time with Elvis read it, and I think someone else did as well. But yeah, so now I have it ready to go for next fall, hopefully. And then I have this copy of The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James. This is one of the Modern Library Collection editions. And I don't love the cover, but it does kind of have this fun vintage feel to it, like a 60s feel. And it's really, really floppy. So this book is on my greatest books of all time list. So that's why I picked it up, because I will get to that at some point. Okay, so this one is a collection of letters written by Mark Twain, but supposedly written from the perspective of Satan. So he takes some of man's most revered beliefs and demonstrates their downright preposterousness when examined in a cold light. He's iconoclastic and not at all gentle in his idol breaking, but reading the letters should be stimulating to anyone interested in looking at the world around him objectively, and a delightful experience to anyone with a sense of humor. Now, the reason I picked this up is because back in the 80s, there was a claymation special focused on Mark Twain. And it was, if you guys know, you know, but it tells the story of Adam and Eve, and then we get this stranger who is supposed to be Satan. And that claymation freaked me out so much, because it was really creepy and it was kind of scary. But I always remember it. My siblings and I always joke about it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is like probably what inspired that. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you guys know what it's like. Okay, and then I picked up this copy of The History of Tom Jones by Henry Fielding, and I've heard a couple of you guys talking about this. Definitely Summer. I know she just read it. And then I believe Mark from Book Time with Elvis was reading it on and off as well. And there's one other person, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I'd never heard of the book before, but it sounds like it'd be really fun. I love the time period that it takes place, and it was illustrated. So I figured I would grab it just in case. I don't know when I'll get to this. Not anytime soon, but it is fun to have it in my collection. Okay, and then these last couple books I got because they were all on my greatest books of all time list. So these three are all part of the Rabbit series by John Updike. They're all on my greatest books of all time list. The first one I think is called Rabbit Redux. No, sorry. The first one I think is Rabbit Run. I don't actually know. But it tells the story of this one basketball player. It chronicles his life. It says Rabbit Run is a shocking novel, not only because of its sexual candor, but because it challenges an image of life still cherished in America. I don't really know what these are about, but they're on my list, and I thought I would grab them. They were really cheap. And then this one is a compilation of the third and fourth books in a more modern version, obviously. Really lovely. I wish I'd found these two in this version, but I'll take it. You know, I'm not too picky about that. So yeah, has anyone read these? I've never heard anyone talk about them. I also picked up this copy of 1776 by David McCullough. I read my first David McCullough earlier this year called History Matters, and I really liked his writing. And I really love this time in history. I've been getting into the presidential biographies. I'm up through, well, I've only read through John Adams, but I also read Benjamin Franklin, and this is a time period in history that I'm very interested in. So this was definitely one I wanted to pick up. And this book's actually quite big. Like, here's an example of the difference, which I was surprised about. But yeah, it'll be fun when I get back in my founding father mood. I'll definitely pick that one up. And then lastly, I have 2 Charles Dickens that I would like to read. I'm a Charles Dickens newbie. I've only read A Christmas Carol, but I have a few other ones I would like to get to. But I did find a copy of Oliver Twist, and this was the Bantam Classics version. It's okay. It's not quite as floppy as I would like, but I'm glad to have a copy of that. And then this one is a Penguin English Library older version, the orange spine ones, which I love. I love finding these in the wild. But this is the Pickwick Papers. Look at this. Oh, so perfect. Yeah, and this has a few pen and ink illustrations in it as well. And it's in pretty good condition for how old it is. Yeah. So out of the 2 of these, which ones did you guys like better? Which one should I read first? So that's it. That's my big, giant birthday book haul. I feel so lucky that I was able to get all these wonderful books. And going book shopping is so much fun, but doing the Read What You Own challenge is helping me appreciate that and to really enjoy the moments that I take to actually be selective about what I pick up from secondhand shops and what I decide to spend, you know, the full price on as well. So let me know if you guys have read any of these. I'm sure many of you have. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day and take care.